On this episode of Car News Rundown, Nissan unveils the new Murano, BMW shows off the new 2 Series Gran Coupe, Rivian's big mistake, and Honda's big recalls. Topping this week's rundown, the Nissan Murano was once the vanguard of crossover style, but that was 2 decades ago, and now Nissan is trying to recapture some of that mojo with the 2025 Murano. 2.6 inches wider than before, the new Murano emphasizes that appearance up front with what looks like 2 full-width grille elements. The upper section is just black trim that connects the LED headlights. LED running lights are integrated into the V-motion grille design below. Overall, it's a face we're not quite sold on. The swooping roofline and bulging rear fenders certainly add to the visual flair, and the LED light bar across the tailgate is equally dramatic. Ground clearance is up about 2 inches, but the wheelbase and overall length remain almost the same as the outgoing model. Nissan has dropped their venerable VQ V6 in favor of the company's VC Turbo 2.0-liter 4-cylinder. It gets 241 horsepower and 261 pound-feet of torque. That's down 19 horsepower but up 20 pound-feet from the old V6. Thankfully, the CVT has been replaced by a traditional 9-speed auto. Nissan calls the new Murano a sanctuary, and the swooping interior goes a long way towards backing that up. The color choices, quilted leather seating, LED lighting, and material selection all look substantially improved. Nissan says occupants will only touch soft materials when seated. Dual 12.3-inch screens sit atop what Nissan calls a belt of Murano glass, inspired by Venetian glasswork. Capacitive touch climate controls from the Aria look cool, but may not be the most fun to use. A panoramic moonroof and heated, cooled, and massaging front seats amp up the luxury features list. Expect pricing details closer to its on-sale date early next year. The BMW 2 Series Gran Coupe with its front-wheel drive architecture has always been a bit of a controversial four-door. And now BMW is releasing what it's calling a second generation of the Gran Coupe, and we can't see that changing much, mostly because it's hard to spot the changes, at least from the front. The LED headlights are pulled back into the fenders and the wide BMW grille remains. It's less than an inch longer and an inch taller, while length and wheelbase remain the same. Revised LED taillights highlight the changes to the rear. Inside is where the most striking differences are found. The design is futuristic and minimalistic at the same time. The curved display of BMW's iDrive system dominates the dash, but the illuminated aluminum trim and stark air vents are certainly eye-catching. There's options like massaging active front seats, a Harman Kardon audio system, heads-up display, and a digital key to unlock the car with your smartphone. Power comes from a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder good for 241 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque, mated to a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission. BMW says the car will get from 0 to 60 in 5.8 seconds. The new 2 comes with a revised suspension design and new shock absorber technology. The company says the result is better ride comfort with what it calls a greater intensity to the driving pleasure. There's also a new M235 xDrive that gets all-wheel drive, a sport-tuned suspension, and stronger 312 horsepower from its 2-liter Turbo 4. Expect a 0 to 60 of around 4.7 seconds. The front-wheel drive 228 S-Drive will start at $39,600 in the US, with the M235 xDrive coming in at $49,500. All-wheel drive models will go on sale in March, with front-wheel drive models expected in mid-2025. Rivian has announced that it's cutting production forecast for the year from 57,000 units down to 47 to 49,000. That caused company stock shares to drop 9% in value after the news was made public. The reason? A parts shortage and slowing EV demand. According to a report by Transport Topics, that part is actually copper wiring needed to make things like electric motors. According to sources cited by TT News, Rivian miscalculated their supply needs and their supplier allocated that copper wiring to other customers. Oops. Honda owners are being hit with a pair of massive recalls. The first came for 1.7 million owners of 2022 and newer Civics, as well as Integras, CR-Vs, and HR-Vs. The reason is a faulty steering gearbox that could cause increased steering effort. But perhaps more fiery is a new recall involving 720,000 2023 and newer CR-V hybrids, 2025 Civics, and 2023 and 2024 Accords. Some may come with faulty fuel pumps that crack and leak, potentially causing a fire risk. The company says to be on alert for the smell of gasoline while the engine is idling or while driving. Check recalls.honda.com to see if your car is on either of these recall lists. This is Car News Rundown, your new source for automotive news, debuts, and analysis. Like and subscribe to get our latest updates. Thanks for watching.